Welcome to another episode of Astro Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Today we got a 2003 Lincoln Navigator, and the complaint is when the customer steps on the brakes, the whole steering wheel and the front end shakes. We diagnosed this car a few months ago. Come to find out, it needs front rotors. So today I'm going to show you how to change the front rotors on this vehicle. It's very easy. It's just like changing the brake pads also. So if you're looking to change brakes on one of these vehicles, follow this video. Alright, let's get this jacked up and pull these wheels off. Okay, first thing you want to do, open up the hood. Now the hood pistons don't work on this vehicle, and this hood is very heavy. A lot of you like to have sticks. Don't get the sticks. Get you a pair of vice grips, hold the hood up, clamp the piston on the shiny part. Then you want to take off the cap to the master cylinder. Then, as you can see around here, we jacked up the vehicle from the center frame, and as a little added support, we got a jack stand. Jack stands are very, very important. Alright, I might have to jack this side up. No, we up enough. Now you hear that noise inside there? That's actually, I gotta let the customer know this. So it's four-wheel drive. That noise is coming from the CV joint. The joint's right there. Let's get a closer look at this. Well, that's going. They're definitely gonna need that. And I checked the other side. The other side is going too. All right, let's get some air out here and take these tires off. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, now that we got tire off, what I want to do is I'm going to show you what we got to do. Is since we put new rotors in, new rotors are thicker than the old ones, so we're going to have to back the piston up on the calipers, you know, just like you're doing new brakes. So I'm going to show you a quick way of doing this. We're going to get a screwdriver, and we're going to put the screwdriver right between the rotor and the inboard pad. That's the pad that's closest to the piston on the caliper. This one has dual pistons, and we're going to pry that back. Okay, be right back and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, now remember, the cap to the master cylinder is off when you do this. What you want to do is pry back on that inboard pad. You want to start off from the top, and you want to try to get it in between so you can have an even pry. You might want to get two screwdrivers to try to pry on both, pry down evenly. Let's get that right back. You know, this thing is having a little difficulty. So you know what? Let's take this caliper off. Okay, we're gonna remove this caliper. What we got here is a 7mm Allen socket. That's gonna go in there. But what we gotta do is remove this little bracket right here. So you just pop that off. Let's set this up, man, so we can stop playing around here. Okay. You know, sometimes this thing does pop out of here, but at the angle, there we go. Pop that off. Now let's get those sockets off of here. Bolts off. Okay, let's go back around this way and get this caliper off of here. As you can see, these things don't come off all that easy. Now that we got it off, that piston looks like it's kind of having a hard time there. We're just gonna get us a little C-clamp, and we're gonna push that back. All right, but for now, what we're gonna do is let's get over here. We got two bolts. Can you see that? Yeah, we can see that. Two bolts right here. They're holding on the caliper bracket. There's about a 18mm. I'm gonna use a little wobble socket. Get a little angle on that. Stubborn there. Okay. Set that bracket down and watch how you take it off so you can make sure you set it in the same spot. Then there you go. Rotor gonna come off, but it looks like you're gonna have a little hard time. Time to get the big boy. We'll be right back. Okay, got the big hammer. You know, we don't care about damaging this rotor because we're gonna put new ones on it. But let's get that off. You know you're gonna have the same problem with yours. But all right. You know, before we get the new rotor, let me show you this. Get a C-clamp and back this piston up some. Be right back. Okay. Now, when you use it, get yourself a C-clamp, and what you want to do is you don't want to try to use it. You don't want to push it up against the padding itself. If you have to, even get the other brake pad, put them together, and we're gonna set that up like that. All right, let's get that set up. Okay, we got both brake pads on there, like that, and we're gonna get the seat. Now what you might have to do is keep flipping back and forth to push each piston in until you can get enough. This one, we probably don't have to go back too much. So you just want to get it just back enough so you can get that rotor between them. Okay. Now what you can do is take your new rotor, or you can take the old one. Is probably, and you see how much space is between there. So that's a lot of space. So I know I probably got it back enough. But what we're gonna do is get the new one and check that and see if it's enough space. Right back. Okay, here we go. We got the new rotor. We're gonna go up here. Oh yeah, fits right in there. So we know that's good enough. Alright, let's get that rotor set on and take care of this. Okay, now you notice we had a hard time getting that rotor off. So we're going to take you a wire brush and right around where the rotor sits. You know, get in there as best you can. Try to clean some of that rust up. You see that noise I'm talking about? You see the axle over here is not moving. So there's a lot of play inside this joint. So, you know, she's gonna need both axles soon. All right, let's get this rotor on. Okay. Next, the caliper bracket. $18mm bolts. Get them tightened up. A little wobble around here. It is. Okay. The little wobble extensions, they're very good, especially for like spots, like tight spots like this. Okay, now on your caliper, the caliper screws, make sure they're pushed back. And then, you gotta make sure this hose, see how this hose is twisting and all? You gotta make sure that hose is not gonna be twisted in there. Make sure it's twisted in the right spot, just like that, so it don't bind and mess up your brakes. Slide this back on. Okay. 7mm Allen key. What I'm gonna do is just make sure, just get it started. Just get one of the bolts started. And once you get it started, you get the bottom one started. Once you got both of them started, just tighten those up. Okay, now, got that little clip. So I want you to come around this way. You got this little clip. Start by putting the clip up against the caliper bracket, and then you're going to just push up pressure and snap it into place. Might have to get a little hammer or something. Then go up here, let's do the bottom one. There you go. Now you got these little dust caps. They go on the outside where the caliper bolts go to. Pop them in. We're all done. Gonna put this tire back on, and then we're gonna go to the other side. So let's get this tire over here. Get those tightened up. If you notice, we're going crossways. So we want to make sure the tire goes on evenly. Okay, got that side done. Now when we come back, we're going to take apart the other side. We'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to turn the wheel all the way to the left. Okay, you're going to go on that side. Okay, take off the two disc caps that's protecting the caliper bolts. One on the top, one on the bottom. 7mm Allen. Get us a screwdriver. Gotta take off that little clip over here again. sometimes this thing can be annoying. Here we go. Alright, let's get this caliper off of here. Now we got the two 18mm bolts that's holding on the caliper bracket. And before we do that, I'm gonna show you this. How much play is in that? That's a lot of play. You see I'm having a problem with that top one, so what you got to do is, now you can't get in there with a straight, so what I got to do is get my 1/2" drive ratchet, a little torque on that, be able to loosen that up. Be right back. And we got that loose. That comes off easy. Now, of course, rotor's rusted up there solid. So what we're going to do is get our big hammer. Okay. And, you know, just like I said before, we don't care about the rotor because we're putting a new one up there anyway. Okay, now before we put that new one on, let's go up here and back this piston up a little bit. Now remember, just because this is a dual piston caliper, you might have to switch both, go back and forth to each side. Now this side went back a lot easier than the other one, so I got a feeling when we do brakes on this next time, we're gonna have to do a caliper on that side. Okay, that should be good enough. Next, yeah, you know it, you gotta take off the rust over here. Okay, now we're gonna go get the new rotor and put that on. But before we put the new rotor on, now remember, the customer's complaint was she stepped on the brakes, the whole front shakes, the steering wheel. So we know the rotors are warped. And from looking at that other side, how hard it was for that piston to go back, chances are we're gonna have a problem with that caliper over there, which is causing that rotor over there to warp. So we definitely gonna recommend some front brakes and the left front caliper on this, so this problem may return. All right, let me go get the new rotor and we'll be right back. Okay, let's get this new rotor on. Okay, next is the caliper bracket. Two 18mm bolts. Let's get those tightened up. Okay, now we're gonna put the caliper on. Make sure. Now the brake pad, you can either put in the brake pad. Now a lot of backyard mechanics, they mess up and put the pad, this part, they put this on the outside. It ain't supposed to be that way. You can't have metal going up against the rotor. You gotta have the pad facing inside the caliper on the outboard. Make it easier, you can put it on the caliper bracket just like that. And then make sure the bolts on the caliper is pushed back. Let's put this on. Okay. Seven millimeter Allen. I'm going to start them by hand. Just so you know, that so you don't cross thread them. The bottom one. Once you get them started, then you can use your ratchet, or in this case the air ratchet. Put our two dust covers on. Okay, and last, we put our little bracket on. Here, you can go on this side. Okay. You know, it's a very difficult bracket to be putting on. Okay, that's on. Now what I'm gonna do is straighten out the wheel. I'm gonna put that tire back on. Then we're gonna put the master cylinder cap back on and pump the brakes up. All right, let's get that done. Okay, we're gonna let this down. Okay, now we'll go over here. We'll put back on the cap to the master cylinder. Remember, that's important. Take that off before you do brakes and pushing those pistons back on the calipers. All right, now we're gonna pump up the brakes. Pump them up. Okay, we're gonna clean up. We'll clean up. We'll be right back. Okay, that's how you do front rotors on a 2003 Lincoln Navigator. Just as I said before, in about a month and a half, we're gonna be doing brakes and the left caliper. Now this is a great time to introduce you to number 24. Now we have 4 vehicles, number 21, 22, 23, and now this one's number 24. As you can see, number 24, got its lettering on it. Got its sign to the side. And what we do is we always number our vehicles. So on the front, got Astro Rotor Repairs. We got number 24. Now what I want you to do is check your brakes out. Have them checked every once a year. Make sure everything is good with them. And if you ever step on the brakes and it shakes, have that checked out before it causes any more problems. This is Timmy from Astro Rotor Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can.